Hello! In the previous video we looked at doors to nowhere. Doors in Cyclopean walls that lost their way with time and concluded it was because of this. Water drainage is an essential part of a retainer wall, and drainage galleries, similar in concept to the Cyclopean doors to nowhere, are still in use in modern dams. There is a whole explanation about it in the last video, and I do hope you get to check that. The link is in the description. However, that's only half of the story. There is another weak point with retainer walls that drainage would solve. And there is also a second type of doors into the afterlife that do not work for drainage. The false doors, also called doors into the afterlife, is an ancient building concept that can be found around the world and not only in Cyclopean walls. Here are some examples from Egypt, where false doors are an essential part of the ancient religion. Ethiopia, as in the obelisk of Aksum. Or Cambodia. And there's also Peru, where we can find both the purely ritualistic type, the one being the false door carved into the side of a mountain, and another, the niches in polygonal walls, being the ones with one-night builders that I'm most interested in and will try to explain away. Sometimes said to be just decorative features as placeholders for statues, it's my opinion that the aesthetic effect is an afterthought, and the Cyclopean builders were in fact applying very advanced know-how that enabled these structures to survive for thousands of years and be standing where everything else is in ruins. In Italy there are two sites with these puzzling features, Alatri and Alba Fucens. In Alatri, the niches are located in one corner of the amazing Acropolis and shaped irregularly, not fit for pedestals. Whilst in Alba Fucens, the niches are in all another setting. Despite not being very scenic, the city is the most intriguing of the bunch, with Cyclopean remainings that are quite unique. Alba Fucens was abandoned in the 10th century after a Saracen invasion, which would have been quite disturbing considering how inland the city is. Before that, the city was continuously occupied by the Byzantines, the Romans and other Latins, and even earlier by some Italic tribes that aren't credited with any construction skill. Even though the Romans did not use Cyclopean masonry anywhere else, not even in Rome, they are credited with the constructions in Alba Fucens, because the previous inhabitants were these primitive tribes, whilst the Cyclopean masonry is exceptionally sophisticated. In Alba Fucens, we can find, made in the Cyclopean style, some advanced buildings. There's a tunnel, said to be a cloaca or a sewage, and more impressive, a pressurized aqueduct with a siphon, the type of construction beyond any primitive tribe to accomplish, and that even the Romans avoided doing, due to the complexity of pushing water uphill. Eventually, what gives it all away is beside the doors to the afterlife. They sit in the corner of the city center, a locale that has many Roman constructions, with all the typical features, central heating and the almost comical zebra crossings. Now, it also has some extensive mortar and brick constructions, on top of polygonal masonry. as the Romans would do. Cyclopean walls were not their cup of tea. It's too intricate and time-consuming, so the Romans wouldn't commit to building 3D puzzles like false doors. Elsewhere in Peru, where someone did commit to build the most exquisite and sophisticated polygonal masonry ever, we can find niches or false doors. As these ones in the Moon Temple near Machu Picchu. Inside the cave we can find an apparent dollhouse without any clear use, considering the doors and windows are all false. On closer inspection to the Moon Temple, we can see some cracks around the false doors that are the result of overwhelming pressure and will be the final clue to solving the enigma. False doors or niches in Cyclopean walls are built because of this. The niches prevent the collapse of the retainer wall. Not when it's caused by water, as for that they had the doors to nowhere or the drainage galleries. The niches are, I believe, the Cyclopean equivalent of the buttress in a dam, offering support to the slab. The same shape we can find in today's impressive water dams. Accomplishing the same effect as the niches in Cyclopean walls. i.e., lateral compression to prevent the wall from bending outwards. This explanation covers the need and usage of false doors in Cyclopean walls, but it's not by any means exhaustive. For example, why there are 3 of them, both in Alba Fucens and in alatri? Why not 2 or 4? I think one niche alone would not be enough to produce the compression effect desired, and modern-day buttress dams have plenty of niches. But why just 3, and to the side of a longer straight wall? I can't explain that. The Cyclopean engineers had many tricks up their sleeves. There you have it. Alba Fucens does not have the most spectacular or well-preserved Cyclopean walls. But it has the most advanced set of building applications, tunnels, pressurized aqueducts, and slab and buttress retaining walls. That's no work for an illiterate tribesman to make, since the older original builders of Alba Fucens were, in some ways, more advanced than the almighty Romans. So, how old are these walls? Well, very much older. And in the next video, I will prove it. Please like and subscribe to know when the proof is out.